Now, if there's one thing I love to eat all football season long, it's buffalo wings. I'm going to show you how to make the most amazing recipe out there. We're going to brine them overnight, fry them, and then coat them in an awesome homemade sauce. This video is brought to you by omeprazole orally disintegrating tablets designed to treat frequent heartburn. These are incredibly easy to make, but it does require us to knock out a little bit of prep. Sound good? Let's cook.
The first thing we're going to do is start off by brining up our chicken wings. You can do this in a plastic bag or in a plastic container, completely up to you. Just go ahead and add in about 3 pounds of chicken wings, and next, for the brine, I'm going to be using pickle juice, just like in my fried chicken recipe. Pick out your favorite pickle, just make sure it's a dill pickle. The next thing to hit it with is some buttermilk. This is going to help tenderize it and cut a little bit of that vinegar from the pickle brine. Zip up your plastic bag if that's what you're using. And then what I like to do is sort of just move it around, make sure all of those ingredients are completely incorporated. And then we're going over to the refrigerator. Just make sure it's standing upright so the chicken wings are completely submerged.
My suggestion is to let these brine overnight or for at least 12 hours, all right? Or else it's not going to have the opportunity to infuse all those amazing flavors into the chicken. So with about an hour left in the brining process, whether that's the next day or the same day, we're going to start on our sauce.
So with about an hour left in the brining process, we're going to start making our sauce. I've got some red hot sauce here. Just go ahead and pour it into a medium-sized sauce pot. And for some flavorings, of course, we're going to hit it with some vinegar to help reduce some of that heat. Next, some garlic powder, followed up by adding in some onion powder just to make us really, really tasty. Some sugar to help cut some of that heat. And then we're going to add in some Worcestershire sauce. And then, of course, some unsalted butter, because who would I be without adding butter to a sauce? Now we want to heat it up and simply melt the butter. So go over to your cooktop and just over medium or even low heat using a whisk, we're going to combine all of these ingredients. Again, the biggest part of this is just making sure the butter is completely melted. And then once it is at that point, just leave it on low heat to keep it warm. Now it's time to fry. But first, add in your oil into your fryer, or unless you're doing it in a pot, just like in my beignets video, which is totally fine, crank it up to about 350 degrees, get it hot while we prep up everything else. Now it is time to bread up our chicken wings. I like to put it in a container so it stands up straight and it's not leaking all over the place. And in a separate container, add in some flour because that's what we're going to bread up with.
All right, Comies, I know you're probably like, Chef, you always taught us to season every single step. And normally, yes, I would. But you have to remember the brine that's on the chicken is nice and salty, and the sauce that's being coated in is also salty. If you remember in my fried chicken recipe video, I seasoned up the flour and obviously I seasoned up the brine, but there was no sauce. This is going to compensate and make sure it's nice and salty and delicious.
Let's go ahead and get started by breading them up. I usually take out about a handful or two or about half of the entire batch and put it right into our flour in our container and then completely coat these. Mix them around very, very thoroughly. This is going to ensure they're golden brown and crispy on every little square centimeter of the chicken wings. Transfer them over to the basket of the deep fryer. Then at this point, simply drop the basket down. Again, we're at 350 degrees. It's going to take in between 7 or 8 minutes for this to completely cook. I like to come back there after a few minutes and give it a little shake, make sure nothing is sticking. Let's go ahead and lift up the basket. You can see they are gorgeously golden brown. Transfer them over to a sheet pan with a rack to drain off any excess oil that I was frying with.
And it's all about understanding these fundamental techniques like frying until they're perfectly golden brown. You start applying these to your everyday cooking and your food from scratch is going to be more amazing than anything you're going to get from the store or a restaurant. Now let's finish plating these up.
And of course, in super slow motion, what I'm going to do, because I need to sauce these up, is take all of the wings and put them in a very large bowl. Make sure the bowl is oversized because I'm going to tell you in a minute why it needs to be there. Now, add your sauce. I like to save a little to the side, just a little FYI for you. pour it all over the top of these chicken wings. Don't worry if they're not completely coated, and this is why I need a larger bowl, because you want to be able to toss them around without the sauce and the wings flying outside of the bowl and going everywhere over the countertop. This takes practice to do, my friends, but I promise you can do it. And to plate them up, I'm just going to serve them up with a few different sauces right on a large platter. Make it easy for everyone to be able to eat this. And of course, what would buffalo wings be without celery and carrots? A definite must-have when it comes to serving up and eating buffalo wings throughout the entire football season.
These have such an awesome little zip to them. They're really, really tasty. And if you're anything like me, maybe you suffer from acid reflux or heartburn. I'm Italian. I feel like I was born with it. And when I enter these seasons of lots of fried foods or sugar or spicy things, I like to take some omeprazole ODT to treat the symptoms of frequent heartburn. It's a really simple 14-day course to reduce that acid. Always ensures I'm feeling great no matter what I eat.
Now, how about these beauties?
Holy smokes, are these good? I can't say it enough. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and of course, check out this next video because it's amazing, and I'll see you on there.